What is going on, everybody? It is the week 3 edition of Coast to Coast, the fantasy football show for the New Era Fantasy Football League. How are you doing, gentlemen?
Going on?
Good. I'm doing good.
Yeah.
How you guys doing? How's everyone doing tonight?
Everybody's doing. I'm doing good. Family's healthy. No complaints. Things could be better. I am 0-2, so things could be better, obviously.
Yeah.
But
I'm doing great. I'm 2-0. I can't complain.
Yeah. Life is good over there. Life is good.
It's all right.
Give
complaining.
Gibson the ball and stand back, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
Without a quarterback.
Or should we say give Aaron Jones the ball and stand
Give
back?
Aaron Jones the ball. I'm about to change my team name. You're right, fellas. You're right.
Hey, look, Capo, you know how I feel. Always good to have you on and to have you as a co-host.
Thank you for having me, guys. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Glad to be with you guys tonight.
This is big. Riddler, man, good to see you back in the rotation, bro.
Thanks, bro. It feels good to be back. And shout out to AC who couldn't make it, but we're gonna hold it down. We're holding down the fort in his absence. Hopefully, we do him proud. So
yeah, absolutely. Shout out to AC, no doubt.
Riddler, I see you got the.
I'll try to do a good job in this place. Well, I'm not in this place, but you know what I mean.
I got you.
In the rotation, you know what I'm saying?
Right. There you go.
Running back by committee.
There you go. There you go. RBBC. There you go.
There you go. Bring you in on third down.
I'm JD McKissick right here.
That's it.
So Riddler, I can't let you slide, man, without mentioning the custom hat that you got there, sir. Looking kind of snazzy. I like that.
Yeah, you know what? In honor of our special guest today, Marv.
I respect.
He inspired me, bro. You know, this is what we do for brotherhood, man.
Yeah.
That Fresh Prince hat had me thinking a long time ago, and I was like, I got to bring something fresh to the table. And
nice.
Like
I was thinking about a new one this year, but you beat me to the punch. I like it. I didn't know I was coming in on week 2. I thought I'd be, week 15 when nobody wanted to see me no more.
It's kind of like that waiver spot, right? Do you want to waste it on week 2 or you gonna hold it?
Right. I thought I had more time. Exactly.
Hey,
nice hat. I like it a lot.
Yeah, definitely a nice hat, man. Nice
team name, team
nice
number.
touch.
Yeah.
Nice touch. Yeah.
Now, is that number 2? Is that
that's where your power ranking is now? Right.
Listen, man, it ain't written in eraser. It ain't an erasable marker. So
okay. So there's no way we can get a 6 on there now.
It ain't shoe polish up there, bro. It ain't coming out. So that's what the hat says, bro.
That's your own rank. How come you put 1 though? Just curious.
Because that's actually the number on my helmet.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, gotcha.
If AC was here, he'd be like,
he would know. Gotcha.
Bring out the helmets, right?
Bring out the helmets.
All right, so gents, we got 2 weeks into the season. Let's get right into it. What stands out to you now that we've gotten through week 2? What has stand out to you? Right? That could be matchups, that could be real NFL teams. Whatever you're seeing in the league that's going on that sticks out to you that you think will be significant going forward. What y'all seeing?
I'll tell you what, week 1, I think it's just like fantasy, a lot of outliers in week 1. And I think that's true in real life and in fantasy. I think week 1, we saw some things happen. We were like, some eyebrow raisers. I'll tell you what, the one thing I noticed is that there's still a clear team at the top, right? And I think that's Gene. I think Gene proved that last week wasn't a fluke when, he beat me to the ground. That's for sure. We're putting up $180 plus. And he came in this week with $147 against Plum.
Yeah.
So, I think he's for real. So that's the one thing I noticed. That's check question answered.
There you go. No doubt. Anything you see?
No question mark.
Anything standing out to you, Capo?
Just in a general sense, I would say Hawkinson. To me now is in the running for tight end 3 at least minimum. Andrews and Kittle dropped down a bit in my opinion, so that's one thing that's popping out to me. Cooper Kupp, I thought it was going to be the Woods show again. I think we made an assumption that Stafford would be targeting Woods the way Goff was. That is right now not the case. Kupp is going off the last 2 weeks, 2 touchdowns, over 100 yards. He's balling. So it looks like his favorite target is Kupp. beyond that, I think everything else is kind of what I expected. I can't think of anything that's popping out. DJ Moore is a guy I like. He's on my team. I'm not just tooting him, but I had a good feeling about DJ Moore and Darnold for some reason, and that seems to has bear out the way I thought it would. DJ Moore is a guy right now. Looks like Darnold's definitely targeting. He's the main guy there. I think there was a lot of conversation offseason about Robbie Anderson and that old connection, but it seems to me like DJ Moore is taking charge of the number one, the top dog over there. Yeah. But that's all I would probably say right now. It's popping out to me at least.
You brought up Cooper Kupp, man, and I think I'm just going back to our post-draft video, our season preview, and I think we were talking about Brett's over-investment in the Rams passing offense, right? And it's most people, you're either going to take Woods or you're going to take Kupp. You don't really over-invest and do both. But I think this is a scenario where he's reaping the benefits, and I think as long as he can make the right decision, he's going to be set.
It's funny, I forgot about that. And at the time, I heard someone on the board make a comment. I actually thought it was a good move. I mean, I thought it was value where you got both of them. I mean, they're both good receivers. You could play them. Even if you have the other, you could play the other, right? That offense, I thought, always had the potential. Even with Goff, I mean, those guys finished, top 20? I'm guessing top 25, both of them. So I thought it was worst case scenario, you got to flex. Or maybe you don't start both of them as your 1-2, but you got to flex. And it's bearing out even better because, if you got Woods, you probably mad you didn't get Kupp. Now he has both. So I got Woods in one league, and I don't regret it. I think he'll be fine. But Kupp is showing not only just to be the slot guy most targeted, but the touchdown guy. He scored 2 in both games, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty big. I mean, he's winning you games each week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah. And I would say kind of, transitioning off of the last two people that you brought up, that's been the thing that's really stood out to me. It's just how big of a difference Matthew Stafford is making for the Rams.
Yeah.
When I first saw the trade, being that I'm a Rams fan, I hated it. I was like, why are y'all giving up so much for this dude? He's on the back end, but this offense looks completely different. So to me, looking at that division, man, if you're going up against the Rams, right now, the only people I'm really seeing that can go toe-to-toe with the Rams in that division is probably Arizona. And
Arizona for sure.
Things.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. And today, not today, excuse me, but the last game we just saw Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
That was Monday night, right? Packers in Detroit. You saw Goff be Goff, right? Yeah. I mean, he can't carry a team. And at the time, I agree with you, Vern. I thought they gave up a lot for him, but I thought it was the right move. When you think about you having a dominant defense that you have in Aaron Donald, excuse me.
Yeah.
And Jalen Ramsey, and you only have him for a few more years, that window's now. You got to get that offense ready to win a Super Bowl. So I thought it was the right gamble at the time because you're not going to draft a rookie.
Right.
What the 49ers are doing with Trey Lance, I don't think the Rams can afford to do, not with that defense, the way it's set up to win right now and be as dominant as it is. So it was a gamble, yes, and it gave up a lot for sure, but it's panned out, man. Our offense does look significantly different.
Yeah.
Stafford's underrated, man. I think we didn't know. I think we all kind of knew he was very talented, but he's underrated, man.
Yeah.
Well, he has some playmakers on offense to work with, right? He's not something out of nothing. So it's
right. And we seen it in Detroit. I mean, he has some guns there, and then the defense sucked. He's always in a shootout, but he can carry you to victory.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt when you can actually run the ball too. So that's the thing too. With Darrell Henderson, we're seeing the Rams are still going to run the ball. So that's taking a lot of pressure off of Matthew Stafford that he really didn't have when he was with Detroit.
Right,
so.
That's a fair point. They never had a running game, whatever you speak of. Yeah.
But the second point, which you brought up in regards to DJ Moore, man, the Carolina Panthers, them dudes is looking for real. It's a whole different. Man,
what's funny about them? It's like you know exactly what they're gonna do, and you can't stop it. There's nothing. There's no magic. There's no secret sauce to what they're doing. They're giving McCaffrey the ball the head, and they're letting DJ Moore eat when they're basically stacking the deck. So I mean, it's not science.
No, they're scoring just enough to win. Yeah, they actually can for sure.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. So other than
that,
they beat
last week, remind me, that was an upset, right? Who did they play? They beat someone. I was like, oh wow,
New Orleans.
Yeah, they beat them pretty handily too, right?
Yeah, Jameis Winston, we found out was still Jameis Winston.
So far. Right. I'm gonna give him some more weeks, but yeah, he didn't look good that game. 2 interceptions, whatever, 100-something yards. Yeah, not good. No brainer.
Taysom Hill, anybody. Taysom Hill. Call him.
Right.
Yeah. So the third thing that stood out to me, other than how good it is to lead the Jets and land yourself with Carolina, man, it's tough. It's tough to get a win in this league. Looking at the points for in this league, it's like, man, you got some true heavyweights. If you're not scoring above 40, it's going to be tough to get some wins this year. And that's a real salute to pretty much all the owners in the league. You guys are bringing it. You're on the waiver wires. You're making it work. Everybody's draft picks are really kind of bearing fruit. Some disappointments here or there, but for the most part, man, this league has just keeps elevating year after year. So that leads us directly into the topic at hand. How does this all shifting out between the league? Who's at the number 10 spot all the way leading up to who's at the number 1 spot. So let's at the number 10. It shouldn't be too much of a surprise. If you're 0-2, chances are you're up for nomination. So how y'all feeling about that number 10 spot? Who you got there? Is it me? Is it Ricky? Are we going to let Ricky slide because he's defending champ, or you going to put me there?
That's, at least for me, bro, that's tough. Because the record, a wise man once said, "You are what your record says you are." But sometimes
Parcells.
Just trust your eyes, right? I don't think you are last. I don't. I don't think you're last. I can't
put you last either.
I don't think you're last. I hate to say it, I think AC is last, but not because just from a pure talent perspective. I mean, I think the fact that he's 1-1, he's put up the points that he's put up, I think is comparatively to where he had to work with at the beginning of the season, like just how he came in. It's a rebuilding year. He'll testify to that. Heart of the champion, true competitor. But just from a team talent standpoint, I can't say that his team stacks up better than yours at 0-2. But like I said, a couple wins can change that, and then eventually the records will start to make these choices a lot easier.
What's interesting? I'm just looking at this now for the first time because I was going to defer to you guys on that because I haven't analyzed. Honestly, I don't do a lot of analyzing other teams. I try to focus only on mine, but I might agree with you, Raph, on that. Vern's got some guys who's, I expect to play better. Barkley, to name one. I think the same can be said for Ricky. He had a tough first week, but we saw already what Packers can do when they got their minds right. And Devonta and Rodgers are not going to play like they did game 1 and will resemble more like they did game 2. So I think Ricky's team has some potential to certainly some upside left there to play better. Aaron's team, you're right. I mean, he's got some tough sledding, I think, when it comes to those receivers. I think he's missed on some picks so far. That's what it looks like in these first 2 games. The San Fran receiver and Claypool, who I like as a talent, but, I mean, Roethlisberger looks done. So there's an issue there. And not only that, Jake Claypool's fighting for targets with a bunch of other talented receivers. But beyond that, I think his team has some tough sledding to go through. So if I had to put someone 10, and again, this is fluid. We know this is always a week-to-week business, but I would put probably Aaron at 10. My 2 cents.
Right. Okay, well, 2 versus 1. So who are we putting at the number 9 spot?
I think it's still possible that he's number 9. I just listen when you're defending champ and you come in 0-2. I think there's something to be said about momentum, even in fantasy football. And I think Ricky, anytime you have Tyreek Hill, you got to he can go 50, he can drop 50 points on any given week, right? Devonta Adams, that's really the core of his team right there is his wide receivers.
Right.
We see what's happening in Jacksonville with James Robinson. I don't know if it's just you got some vultures there. And that's making that backfield not as dynamic, at least for Robinson, as we anticipated, I think. But you know what? Deebo Samuel, man, he's for all the Brandon Ayuk talk, we talked about, maybe AC missing on some picks here or there, but it looks like, Debo's that dude, right, in San Francisco right now.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like he's got the depth, but it's just outside of Devontae and Tyreek Hill, like it's hard to, to feel in this league where I think everyone has stepped their game up. I can't until he starts mustering out some wins with his peoples. I can't really see him moving up, and that's a lot to ask for for Devontae and Tyreek Hill to carry you every week in and week out against some of the heavy hitters at the top. So,
what's your thought, Marvin? You got him at the number 9 spot, or you
the 9 is a little unclear to me. I agree with a lot of what Rap said, but it's a little more unclear because I just while he was talking, I was looking at the roster and the benches. He's got 3 solid receivers, as we talked about already. Now Debo looks like a number 1, which I thought he would be actually prior to the season. That's why I was really unsure why the Ayuk ranking was what it was, because I'm like, do people forget about Debo? But it's good to see that was a hunch I had and it played out. So he's got 3 solid receivers he could play at all times. I think the running backs are, was it Damien? No, not, is it Damien he has? I'm sorry. Am I confusing squad? No,
Montgomery.
That's AC. Montgomery and who's the second running back? I'm sorry.
You got Gordon and you got James Robinson and you have
James Robinson. Right. So clearly James Robinson is going to be a problem. I think that offense is putrid. I was worried about that, honestly, and it seems to come to fruition. I don't know if they stay that bad, but Jaguars,
Dude,
Robinson, I don't think
words.
you can play right now.
Urban Meyer. It's
yeah, 100%, because they were better last year. So, but he's got some heavyweights, man. I mean, that's how he won last year against me, right? I mean, when A-Rod, Devontae, Tyreek, Debo, it's a solid start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the issue I see with your team is not all your fault, but Najee was a good pick. I think most people would have picked him, but I don't have a lot of confidence in Pittsburgh and what they were doing. I did it in the offseason with the O-line. I don't know how much Najee will improve. And Ben can't throw the ball. So I don't know. Jonathan Taylor, my concern was Nyheim Hines. And that seems to be another issue. And then you got Wentz, who's not out there. So when you don't got Wentz, what happens? You got Jacob Eason, I think it is. And does he scare you? So you probably just shut down the run game and ask the QB to beat you. So I think you got potential. But right now, if we just based on the rankings and forget just potential, but guys we know have a track record, I got to probably go Ricky now as a little ahead of you right now.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would absolutely agree. I will put myself number 10, but we've already settled that. We put AC at 10.
No, I would take your team over. If I had to just do it that way, I would take your team over AC's team. Yeah. You got more. You got some more quality players, I think, and I don't think that's hard to argue.
Okay, so we won't belabor the point. So we'll put me at 9. We'll put Ricky at 8. So who do we have at 7?
I defer to Raph on you guys. I didn't go that deep, honestly. I'm just doing this now as we speak.
If you had to ask me,
I'm gonna go with Germ.
Yep. Yeah, we'll keep it short and brief.
Germ
Joy, like I said, he has a fun team, and I think he's gonna get some sneaky wins along the way. But he's still rebuilding, and you can tell that. You can still tell
this game. This is a fantasy game of points, and he ain't scoring what he needs to for the lineup he's putting out there. And it's I think it's. You gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them, right? Coming into the season, it's like, are you rebuilding? Are you going for it? It's kind of a little bit of both, and
Okay.
I think New Orleans. What do you think of the New Orleans offense? Right? What's your take on that after 2 weeks?
It's gonna be a headache.
Right.
It's gonna be a headache all year.
Mara, for the surefire investment you would have to have made in him, is he gonna be worth the return? Based on what we've seen for the first 2 weeks, I still think he's going to have monster games, but I think, Drew Brees, not having Drew Brees there and having the turnover prone Jameis Winston, I think is going to do a lot to harm Kamara's value moving forward.
Yeah. That's part of it. Part of it is Drew Brees, but I also feel like a big part of that is not having Michael Thomas.
Yeah. I was just about to say that they don't have a receiver that you really got to worry about. And I think we all fell for that preseason Marquez Callaway nonsense. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a solid player. He's impressive. I saw what I saw, and everybody saw in the preseason. But does he have a proven track record? Can he be a number one? I don't know. That's too much to ask. Michael Thomas, we know, can be a one. So Marquez could be a perfect two, which they've never really had over there. But you need Michael Thomas. And until Michael Thomas comes back, I think you're going to get a little bit of the up and down we saw, like what we saw in game 2.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they got enough pass catching talent right now that teams got to worry about. So Kamara is going to have some tough sledding games.
Yeah.
Especially with better defenses. You know what I'm saying?
If Kamara can't put up the points he needs to, then you're relying on Kyler Murray, who I think is just going to be the MVP of the league the way he's playing right now. Definitely up there, top 3 in contention. But if he, other than Kyler Murray, there isn't anybody else on his roster that's like, yeah, that I can just set it and forget it. I got no questions. And I think that's what the issue with Germ. I think is, George Kittle is like you said. I think he's not the George Kittle of 2 seasons ago or more. Robbie Anderson surely is he's good. He ain't DJ Moore, right, on that offense. So Cincinnati, he's starting out T. Higgins. Like, again, he has the right players, but not enough where they don't come with
difference makers. Just not enough difference makers. Yeah, they're solid, but they're not difference makers right now. At least not right now.
Right.
Yeah,
Kamar would have been the one difference maker, and he's not right now so far.
Correct.
Right. Well, we given Jerm plenty of love as far as his team and breaking it down. So we'll keep it right on moving. Who do we got at the outside looking in? So we talk about 7 and 6 before we start getting into that top 5. Right now, we got Brett Yor, we got Mel, and we got Raph. You still at number 6, Raph? That's a no. Okay.
That's a question? That's a question?
Possibly. No, but just being honest, I feel like Brett Yor, I feel like his team is starting to heat up, but we still need to see some things. I think most of this is about his management. It's not about his team. We just talked about Cooper Kupp and how he's turned on. Cooper Kupp has been sitting on his bench for the last 2 weeks. So that's what's keeping him. I know. Right. I know.
It's crazy.
I don't want to.
After the first week, you got to put him in there, man.
Watch Robert Woods catch 4 touchdowns.
Well, we got to be careful. I know we're not supposed to be talking about strategy and all that, but yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, some things are just obvious. So it's like, is it really strategy if it's obvious? Right. So, but it is what it is.
That's true. And he is in there now. Well, and clearly
he's in there now. So.
Right.
But nonetheless, so I think that's more of a management thing. Also the same thing with Derrick Henry. He had an awful first week, and then he blows up, obviously, against me for 50 points. Is he going to give you 50 points every week? No, but he's definitely not a guy that's going to be, 11, 15 points either. So I think it's a little bit of management and a little bit of his players heating up that's keeping him at that number 7 spot. So that sends us into the number 6 spot. If it was me, I'm personally going to put Mel there. But here's the thing. Mel's team is a lot better than what people are giving it credit for. It's a lot better. So the whole Derek Henderson situation, that's starting to figure itself out. I think Henderson pretty much is going to be the starting back. You got CeeDee Lamb. We see what he's doing. We all had our comments about Lockett, hot, cold. Guess what? He's been consistent. He's been a lot more consistent than was expected, right? And he's taking Russell Wilson along for the ride. And then he's getting, not only does he have Waller, but if something should happen, he has Gronk as a backup. So really the only thing
I'm gonna be honest with you though, sorry to interrupt. I would still put Brett over Mel though, in my opinion. Although I agree with you, I agree with everything you said, bro, honestly, because his core is really CeeDee Lamb, Lockett, and Waller, but those running backs, they kind of scare me, bro.
Yeah.
I think Brett having Derrick Henry, he covered himself with Tyson. I'm not sure who his other running backs are, but his receivers are just as strong or
better
or comparable to Mel's. That I would probably flip the two.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Let's flip them.
I could be wrong.
We can flip them. We can flip them right there on the spot.
I would agree. I'd put Mel down 1. I'd put Brett up 1.
All right. So we got Mel at the 7. We got Brett at the 6. All right. So now that takes us into the top 5. Right.
Because honestly, man, I think the biggest miss was, I know he's a Raiders fan, but Josh Jacobs, I don't know how much he's going to give him this year, man.
Yeah. That could be a scary situation.
I think that was his keeper. So when one of your keepers are not really giving you what you expect, that causes an issue.
Let's just say there were deals to be had in the offseason.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he's not. Yeah. Well, we'll say that for another time. But Josh don't look like he's going to be a difference maker this year.
Yeah, and I'm sure Raph wasn't giving up a running back, so that's another discussion. But but as it is, all right. So now we getting into the meat of the meal here. So now we're talking about top 5. These are all guys that right now they're projecting their way into the playoffs. Who do we have at the number 5 spot, right? So obviously, just to kind of roll it off, you got Marvin, you got Raph, two of the gentlemen that are sitting here. So y'all have y'all claim to it, but you also got Plunkett, you got Gene in the mix. So that's 4, and then who we missing? I feel like we're missing somebody.
That's what I'm wondering. Did we miscount?
We might have miscount.
No, that's what happened. Okay, so Jeremy's 7.
Yeah.
Mel is 6. 5 is Brett.
And then we'll put Brett at 5.
Right. So there's only 4 left. Sorry, guys.
There we go. So we're talking top 4.
Right, top 4. Yep.
So this kind of sends us into this like collision point, right? Because who really should be at 4? Who really should be at 3? Who really should be at 2? I think an argument can be made for quite a few teams. So Plunkett, Raph, Marv, it's like a knife fight. Any one of you could have a claim for the number 2 spot, and any one of you could be argued down to the number 4 spot. So,
well, I say,
make your case.
I say 1 for sure is not me. I don't think it's me yet. I won't give myself 1. I don't think I'm there. I think it has to be Gene. 1, he has the highest point total, I believe, although not by much, but he does, and he's 2-0, just like I am. So I'd put Gene 1, and so the question becomes 2, 3, and 4.
I totally agree. So let's have that argument about number 2.
If we just base it on record, I would put myself there because I think there's only 2 2-0 teams, and we both, me and Gene, are division leaders. So just on that basic argument, I would probably put myself 2.
Raph, would you like to have something to say about that?
Out of respect for the man, and I think I can't argue with that rationale. When I look at it, listen, your team is what it is, your record is what it is, and there's something to be said, until you take an L, you deserve to remain at the top. And I think head of the division, one of the top teams in points for, even though comparatively like my team and Marv's team are basically points for are basically right there. I think I might even have a few points more, but no, you know what? I'd give you 2, 2 or 3, but I think the 2-0s, rightfully so, should be 1 and 2.
Okay. So Raph, where do you think you fall into
I'm gonna be number 3.
You think so you think you get the edge over Marvin. Okay. And I think that sounds about right, Jimmy, to be honest with you. I feel like just from a depth perspective and where the teams are trending, I think both your teams are trending up. I just feel like Marvin has a little bit more depth than you, Raph. So he has a little bit more, fighting power in case of injuries and other little knickknacks that come along with it. But at the same time, I think clearly Plunk is a notch off for both of you. So I would have him probably at the number 4 spot. Raph, I'll put you at the number 3 spot. Marvin, I have you at the 2, right? And that's more than just the record. I think that's where your teams are trending. And I think Gene clearly is the number 1. So any disagreements?
No,
I think I'm buying that.
There you go. Bang the gavel. It's done and done. So that's your week 3 power rankings.
So the Rilla needs to put a number 3 on his hat.
Yes.
This is perspective, bro. This is not,
you're right. No, I got you. Next week I might.
This is after I play Not So Facile.
Gotcha.
That's the spirit, Raph. That's the spirit. All right. So with that being said, that takes us into our matchups. What are we feeling about week number 3? What's standing out to you as far as matchups? Obviously, you got 2 competitors that are going to be going up against each other. We don't necessarily have to get into that right now, but what are some of the matchups you're looking forward to?
Well, you and I are playing, so that's a key matchup. Was it 2-0, 0-2? I mean, listen, I've been on that end. I've been 0-2. I think I talked to AC about this week. I've been 0-2 and 0-3 in this league, especially the last several years, a number of times, like the Giants. So that's for another day. The Giants been 0-2 for 5 straight seasons. It hasn't been quite that bad, but it's tough in the fantasy when you start out in a hole. As you know, Vern, I'm sure you started a couple of times 0-2, I'm sure. But yeah, it sucks, man. So I'm always it's very big for me to always win that first game now of the season, kind of get it off the snide, so to speak, and just get some, good vibes going with your team. Right. So, and some of it is just luck and who you play and who they play, and maybe an injury someone has, you have. But it's always good to win a game, especially your first one. So I hate to have to do it to you. You're probably going to be on 3 because I'm going to do everything I can in my power. But it's going to be a good matchup. Based on projections alone in your squad, it's going to be a good matchup. I think Barkley's going to have a pretty big game this week, in my personal opinion. And it's going to be a good game. I just know that. It's going to be a good game.
Well, I'm looking in the words of Stone Cold to The Rock, I need this win. I need this win. I hate that it had to be you, but I got to get this win.
Yeah,
I cannot. Hey, man, my fantasy life is on the line here. So
no, it's going to be big. Yep. And 3-0 is big too. I mean, I don't know how many games I am up in the division, but you went 3-0. A couple of guys losing your division. You got a little lead. All these games count.
They all count. Vern, I'm gonna channel my inner AC. Shout out to the homie who can't be here, but I'm gonna channel my inner AC. No excuses this week, bro. No excuses. No excuses.
That's totally an AC thing to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you won't hear nothing from me. You
know what? Next time we do this and AC can't make it, I'm gonna try to get a glow up mic, fluorescent LED, whatever that is. Nah, man, come on, man.
Get the
Somebody
disco
gotta
mic.
Have the mic. Somebody got the mic. Yeah, I might get a strobe light. Maybe I'll do that above my head, a little strobe light. Ode to AC.
Get the disco going.
I was gonna say no more parties in Jersey. He's got the party mic on.
Right. Looking like
no more parties
like
with the party mic. Word, looking like Flavor. All you need is the clock.
Cut the lights off and get the flashlight.
Right. But yeah, man. So Marvin, I'm hey man, you saw me on the waiver wires. I was working it.
Yeah. So you saw me. No,
yeah,
I saw you.
Me. I saw you. Yeah. I saw you.
4 in the morning, 4 in the morning, banging on the door.
In the middle of the night. Y'all like 2 thieves in the middle of the night passing each other like, I know what you're doing here. I know what you're doing here.
Listen, right. Once Ricky picked up, I was tight. Once Ricky picked up, I was like, man, hopefully Ricky's sleeping at the wheel doesn't pick Elijah Mitchell. Of course he did. So once he did and I got pole position now, I'm like, nah, ain't a guy clearly I need to do that for right now. So 4:09, I was up in the morning picking a guy on the waiver wire.
Yeah.
12:01, Marvin's knocking on his door. Like, yo, Danny, come sign with me. Sign with me.
Uncle Ricky.
Uncle Ricky.
So yeah, we'll get a chance to see what Daniel Jones can do.
Right.
We'll get a chance to see what Daniel Jones can do, man. But hey, look, I'm putting Shepard in there just in case.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, bro. I think all Giants right now are looking good.
Yeah, they're looking pretty good.
Atlanta is bad this year on defense. And I saw a lot from they play well against Washington, who's considered a top-notch defense, right? So I could see the perfect storm.
Yeah, for sure. So other than that, as far as matchups are concerned,
I mean, Brett and I got a dance this week.
I was just about to say
that's a good matchup. That's a good matchup.
We're both 1-1.
I didn't actually look at the matchups, but that's a good matchup.
Hey, look, Terrence Williams versus Detroit, after what Aaron Jones just did, it's looking rather delicious.
Wait. How you gonna rename the guy, son? His name is Tyson.
Tyson. Sorry about that.
Right, like 50 Tyson.
There you go. Or like Tyson's
call
chicken.
The man Terrence.
Right. Get your sauce out.
They'll call the man Terrence.
I might have been thinking Terrence West from back in the day.
Or what's the other guy on Carolina? Don't they got a Terrence over there too?
Yeah. Yeah, they got a Terrence over there too. But Tyson Williams versus Detroit.
50 Tyson's gonna do his thing, yep.
Yeah, and then you're looking at obviously a rejuvenated Derrick Henry And I mean, he's locked and loaded with his wide receivers. So I mean, to me, Raph, you up against it, bro. I think
he's got a squad in there now with Cup in there as your flex. It's a great flex. DK Metcalf, hopefully, or not hopefully if you're Raph, DK Metcalf wakes up and scores a touchdown or two, and then you got Diggs, who's been kind of quiet too, actually, right? I mean, I'm not a Diggs owner, but he's been a little quiet, I feel.
Yeah.
They might there's a game. He has potential. He has a great squad. I mean, he's got Buccaneers defense. Man, Brett's got a team.
Yeah.
His starters are solid, man. And he may be, for all we know, next week he may be in the top 4 conversation too. Yeah. He's knocking on the door. He's got a good squad.
Yeah.
No, my team is basically playing on the road. My entire team is playing on the road. So we'll see if that has any.
I like Mike Williams though this week. I mean, not to get into matches too much, but I like Mike Williams this week. I think that's a great play. Yeah. I mean, Pitt's got to wake up though. I mean, you really banged the table to grab him where you grabbed him that draft. So he needs to pay some dividends right now for you.
Listen, every time I look at
no
Pitts,
more Hayden Hurst.
No more Hayden Hurst, man. Every time I look at that Kyle Pitts move, I'm like, I could have had Carson had I went a different direction. But it's like I said,
it may pay off.
Listen, I think for as volatile as that position is, man, I'll take Pitts.
No, he's getting the targets. It's just a matter of time. But yeah, it's just Atlanta. Atlanta is Atlanta right now. They're not clicking on a lot of levels. I mean, when you're running around with Cordell Patterson, you already know what it is. No disrespect to Cordell Patterson, but I mean, it's a little quirky thing to be doing right now.
I ain't gonna lie. I was like, Cordell Patterson, the wide receiver, turn running back.
Hey.
Right. I think the Vikings and the Bears tried this before. We've seen this movie before. It didn't really work out.
I've seen this before.
Yeah. So it's crazy. This is like his 3rd, 4th movie.
I'm like, the last time I said Cordell Patterson's name was in like 2008.
Word. It's been a while. Yeah. Right.
Like Blockbuster Video.
Well, he's been a Bear, a Viking, and a Patriot, I think, at least. Yeah. So yeah, he's been doing this for a while.
Yeah. Brother's still cutting them checks.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But other than that, we got Romel coming up against Plunkett. I think that's going to be,
that's a good matchup.
That's going to be a good matchup, man.
I think
you got some things in there that's going to be interesting, between Russell
I gotta say, Plunk has got an interesting team. I didn't know what to think of Cooper this year, especially with the emergence of CeeDee Lamb, but Cooper seems to be still the man there. So that turned out to be a better pick when he made it at the time. Was not a big fan of the Godwin pick also because, again, a lot of mouths to feed. But that's a decent flex to have. Obviously, he's still a top, what I would say, at least 20 receiver, right? Kelsey's Kelsey, bro. I mean, Kelsey's still murdering dudes. So,
bro, did you see that one play, bro? Did you see that? Like,
son, I don't even understand how they let him do what he does. But I mean, I can't even say they're letting him. He's just better than we give him credit for.
Yo, he looks like an adult in a kid's playground when he's in the field.
Yeah. He's just really nimble and knows what he's doing out there. Yeah, for sure. And Eckler, I thought, obviously, we know who Eckler is, Mahomes. Jefferson hasn't panned out yet, but I think that can change. Shout out to Thielen. But, he's got a sneaky squad.
Yeah.
I said this.
And Mel's got a sneaky squad. When you consider the tight end, the receivers, the running back scared me a little bit. Miles is not who I thought he would be. Drake is Drake. And it's so bad with Drake. He's not even the replacement for Jacobs. I think they're playing Peyton Barber, bro.
Peyton Barber.
Yeah.
Gruden loves his oldies, bro.
He's wild for that.
Like that's his Charlie Garner now. And Charlie Garner was a talented guy and had some skills still late years. But Peyton Barber is slow as mud. I don't know how they running this guy out there, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I made this comment like back, because I was a Jefferson owner. And I think, the upside is obviously you don't question it, but his catch rate last year was so astronomically high that the question was, can he replicate that this season?
We're talking about again?
Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson, yeah.
And Alan Thielen last year wasn't Alan Thielen, and he was the main beneficiary of that. Now we see Alan Thielen back in the picture, right?
Right.
And he's not as efficient.
100%.
Jefferson's not as efficient with those target at least not in the catch rate. He was kind of like 70 or 80% of every ball thrown his way, which is absurd. So that
100%.
That to me.
Listen, my only issue with Thielen, I've been a Thielen owner. I kept him 1 year. I've drafted him several times. My only issue with Thielen was he's a little older than the other guys that are being drafted around where he is. He's a little older than Woods or who is some of the older receivers I'm thinking about. He's older than most of those guys, like 31, I think. So he started having some injuries last couple of years. Hamstring 1 year, I think, and then last year he missed 2 or 3 games. Right. So I was like, man, maybe he's Father Time never is undefeated. So I'm like, maybe he's slowing down. But what I didn't know, if he's healthy, so I took the gamble. If he's healthy, him and Cousins have a different kind of connection than even with Jefferson. Him and Cousins, man, when he's in the end zone or the red zone,
he looks for him. It
looks for him, and they see things only those two see. They have a connection, man, and it's a beautiful thing to see. Those 14 touchdowns he scored last year weren't coincidences. No. So I was happy to have him as a number 2. Yeah. And he's turned out to be okay. He's not getting great yardage. Something's going on with the Vikings. You probably know more than me because you got cooked, but they just may not be as good as I thought they were going to be. But Cousins is playing well. I think the O-line might be part of the problem, and obviously the defense is not stopping a lot of people right now.
That's the major problem.
That's the issue. Their issue is their defense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
But I think for Plunker's team really is how good is Devon Singletary, because that's going to
determine. He stepped up this year. Yeah. There's a cap on Singletary because of how they play over there and the backfield, but he's better than he was last year. Look like he's getting more snaps.
But you know what? But you're getting
Moss,
right? I mean that's his issue. If they just kind of exile Moss to
right,
then he'd be fine. But man, when they throw Moss out there half the time, it's like it puts a cap on Singletary.
Well, the thing is, they're not even throwing Moss half the time. The problem with Moss is he's getting those touchdowns. I think he scored 2 last week.
Right, he's getting
so he's taking a lot of his. Yeah, he's getting the heavy points. Right, you got 12 points just on 2 touchdowns, and he's not getting a lot of balls as far as targets, but 2 touchdowns could have been Singletary's touchdowns.
Exactly.
Now you're talking about Aaron Jones games, right? 3-4 touchdowns a week.
Right.
So that there is cap there, but if his other guys play like they should, then he's going to win some games.
There you go. Well, gentlemen, I think that pretty much covers most of the things that we set out to cover for tonight. For week 3, definitely wishing both of you gentlemen good health. Marvin, I just wish you a unproductive week.
Right.
Eat a couple donuts. Feed your team.
With the reverse.
Show up late to practice.
I'm not going to fall for the reverse juju.
Not doing the reverse juju. Right. There you go. Talk to the ref. Remember what happens when you do that.
Now listen, man. No Papa Shango here, man. I'm done.
No Papa Shango.
But yeah, it's definitely, like I said before, definitely good to have you on, Marvin. Definitely.
Thank you for having me, both of you guys. Appreciate the invite, and I'm glad I could. I'm not saying I'm replacing or covering AC. I'm just JC McKissick tonight. I was glad to do my best rendition.
Well, hey, look, if in the words of J.C. McKissick, you definitely did a good seven catches for 75 yards, a couple touchdowns.
Yeah. I did it right.
You were irritated.
I chipped in.
Listen,
you definitely made the
now,
Gibson owner irritated. That's for sure.
Listen, right now, there's a person is he a free agent? Let me drop that. Let me put that claim in real quick.
Right.
Claim it at 12:01.
Right. At 12:01.
Well, look, we look forward to next week for week 4. Hopefully, I will have a win. Sorry, Marvin. Right. But hopefully, hey, man, let me borrow one.
You never know, brother. Yeah. maybe week 4. Maybe week 4.
Hey, man, look, man, this has been real fun, man. Good to see both of y'all. Definitely, Marvin.
You too, both, man. Yep.
Definitely come back. Don't have to wait 10 weeks to come back and
absolutely
the co-host again. And we up out of here. Y'all stay healthy.
Good night, brothers.
All right, peace.
Be out. Good night.
Peace.
Out.